see if my camera works. All right, so we are live. Hey everybody, it is Sunday, the 5th of January, 2025, and we are basically here to talk about what's going on with BrokeFish. So, interestingly, let me see if I can get on video here. Does this work? All right, there we go. Yeah, I'm on video. The first thing we're going to talk about is our recap of the first season. So I'm here with Steve. Joe is a little sick, so he's not going to be able to join on today, apparently. But season one was our first season of the BrokeFish Poker League, and I think it went really well. A lot of people participated. A lot of people signed up to try to play in the league. We had some people that I think they played tournaments like almost every day.
Yes.
And we had a lot of people that scored actually, 100 plus points on the ranking. I think when we looked at the ranking, and those were published out recently, but when we looked at the final ranking for the league, Cody Culp, Mambo Man, he did a really awesome job. He ended up with more points than anybody else by a multiple of like, what was it, 4x or something? Like he had 4,000 something points.
It might have been more than that. He almost 10x the field.
Right. Yeah. Like it was crazy because he came in with over 4,000, right, and then nobody else even passed 1,000. So
Correct.
the
Right.
difference between second place and first place was like thousands of points. But another person, and this is actually an amazing story. So despite battling against cancer, right, Timothy Don Fisher was able to come in and actually score enough points to make it to second place, and he ends up winning the full set of trading cards as well from that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, he's
And then
a
obviously,
really good tournament player.
yeah, he's actually one of the top tournament players. Like if you look at rankings for live tournaments, right, for New Hampshire, he's up there as one of the top, I think, 20 in the state for live winnings. If you look at like Global Poker Index, which is pretty cool. And then we had other folks that mostly, for the most part, people that won were in the United States. We did have one person from Canada who actually won a prize. And then we had a good number of people in the Texas area, just since poker's big there too. Tonight we're going to be doing the drawing for the Teddy KGB card, which is pictured here. I actually have the physical one here that I can show everyone. So this is the actual card. It's pretty much encased in plastic. It comes in a hard case, and it's a one of one. So whoever gets this is going to be the only person in the entire world that has this thing. And they can keep it for themselves. They can go try to sell it. It's the only one. So there's, it's kind of a very unique product. Nobody else is going to be able to say they have this. It comes with a certificate of authenticity. And the other card that we're actually going to be giving away, and we'll get into this for season two, but the Stew card here, which a few people will actually probably get on Monday if they come to Gate City for the tournament, because we'll have a couple to hand out. But this Stew card is going to be a prize for season two. Anyone who scores a point will get one of these. And obviously, similar to this season, all you have to do to earn a point is just cash any tournament or win a satellite. And that's one of the really cool things is like you could play in the league and you could not have a ton of money and you could actually do really well, because if you satellite into tournaments for like $1 or 250, $5, you can actually get into tournaments where the prize pool is like $40,000 and actually win some decent money.
Yeah, absolutely.
So before, let me actually, so on that note, right? So league season two, right? So everybody's going to get a card for scoring. We don't have the full, set of how you're going to earn points for season two out yet. But the key thing is that in season two, it's going to be based more on the return that you get playing tournaments. So instead of like a flat model where, if you final table, you get 5 points. If you win the tournament, you get 10 points. It'll be based on how much you made against what the buy-in was. So if you buy into like the $22 tournament and you win 100, you would get, less points than if you bought into like, let's say the $55 tournament and you won 100, because it's you went deeper in that tournament. So that means that people that are, if you're not bankrolled to play like the high roller $300 tournament or the $250 tournament, and all you can do is like 11 and $22 events, you've still got a chance at winning the league.
So does this mean that we most likely won't have somebody run away like we did this season?
Yeah, I think it's going to make it a lot more competitive in terms of, you won't have somebody who runs away, unless of course there's somebody who they just keep winning, winning, and winning. Like if you're constantly, getting first, second, third place in events all over the place, then you're probably going to win the league. But it's basically the better a player you are, um the more that you cash tournaments and the more that you win satellites, the higher you're going to end up on the ranking.
Yeah, Cody did so well. I was thinking to myself, how can I stake this guy? Like
Yeah, and actually
where
that's something interesting too. So I think, I sold action for one of the events that ran in the league, one of the online tournaments. I'm surprised we don't see more people doing that. I know people tend to think like, oh, you should only sell action to like high buy-in stuff, but it's kind of cool to give people a piece of like, let's say a $44 tournament where, they only need to invest like $5 to get like 10%, whereas somebody playing like, let's say like the WSOP super high roller 25K, like 1%, you need 250.
right.
So that's definitely cool. By the way, if anyone has questions, feel free to, on the YouTube channel, you can go post them and then we can put some of those up on the board. I think we've got actually, interestingly, we have one from a guy who is named Slice NH. I believe this is Christopher J. Paolino here, who's a notorious player. And he's wondering where his trading card is. So interestingly, we told him he needed to send us his mailing address and then we would mail him his card. So all he kind of has to do is provide his mailing address and he'll get mailed his prize, but otherwise it's going to be forfeited and 11th place will get it. We have another comment, which is somebody trolling, so I'm not even going to bother with that one. And then Slice says he has a question, but he hasn't put his question up on YouTube, so we can't really address it. But why don't we get into some of this week's poker news? So, did you hear about this poker player who is accused of committing murder?
I did. I believe it was in Michigan. I don't really know too much about the story, but I did hear about it.
It is.
What
So
happened exactly?
there's a poker player, Craig Bergeron, right? He's a professional or semi-professional player. Mostly he plays online, but he did have a decent amount of live winnings when I looked up his information on Global Poker Index. And you know, basically, so he apparently shot a guy and then he fled from the scene in a car, like an SUV. And of course, later on they caught him, right? Because it seems like they always catch these guys. They flee the scene and then they catch him later. But apparently, what happened was on this was prior to Christmas, right? So like on a Monday night, east side of Detroit, he basically just shot a guy. The police came, they found the victim, unfortunately deceased, and um, the um, person who was suspected of doing it was Bergeron, and the Detroit Police Department put out I think I don't know if it was like a wanted bulletin or if they just had an arrest warrant or whatever, but they arrested him and took him into custody for that homicide. And this isn't like somebody who you would think would need to, like, let's say, commit homicide to like rob somebody, right? He has over $1 million that he won live. He won a ton of money playing online, and he actually had a WSOP circuit ring too. But um, you know, he is somebody who was fairly well known and recognized in the poker community. And the other thing is that in addition to that charge, he's facing charges apparently for assault as well. So, I think I haven't um, been to Michigan in a while, but what I recall is that in Michigan, um, murder carries life without parole. If it's a first degree case, I don't think they have the death penalty anymore there. But that's probably what this guy is looking at in terms of being in jail for the rest of his life.
Yeah, now I kind of remember the story a little bit. I mean, a murder in Detroit. I mean, who would have thunk, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
no, Detroit obviously has
it,
its crime issues. It's just,
yeah.
um, but typically a lot of the crime issues that you see of murder in Detroit is gang related, drug related. This seems to have not necessarily been that.
Well,
So
you mentioned that it with what he's won in the past, and how that should potentially dictate what somebody's future actions will be. Um, when it comes to a lot of those high rollers, the rise and fall that almost always happens with most of them is real. And even the mid stakes players they could potentially be on that same train. We hear about it a lot more with bands and things like that. Potentially, back in the 70s and 80s when it came to drugs and all that.
right,
Well, I think it happens in this day and age as well. You reach that pinnacle, and then you have no place else to go but down. And when you run bad, and emotionally it catches up to you, things happen. Um, you know, the other thing is that the more money you make, the more money you spend, no matter what.
right.
We all
No,
tend to
that's
budget
true.
on what we make. And if some of these people are suddenly making a whole bunch of money, they're going to start spending a whole bunch of money, and now they don't have any money left when they run bad for a few months.
Yeah. So this is a great question here from Squidmodo. Why do all of your lives look like a timeshare PowerPoint presentation? And if you want the honest answer, it's literally because the slide that we created for this live stream was put together in Microsoft Office PowerPoint, which is a lovely application. You can do great slideshows on it. It's comes with every Microsoft 365 subscription, and it runs on both Windows and Mac and Android and iPhone. So, or well, all four platforms. So it's pretty easy to use. But that is why it looks like a PowerPoint presentation, because yes, indeed, it was created in PowerPoint.
Did they pay you for that advertisement, Matt?
They did not. But Microsoft is obviously a company that does very well. So let's see. The next thing that we have is a note from Biosphere. Apparently, the cash game started. So the
I didn't see
plan was
that.
to get that going underway after we finish the stream up, but people probably didn't want to wait. They wanted to start making some money early. So that's
Yeah,
going. So again, if you're not in the club, it's easy to join. Just look in BrokeFish Poker Uncensored and then reach out to Steve or I. We can give you the information to join. Um, 25 cent, 50 cent is going to be running this evening. So both Hold'em and PLO. And all you need is $20 to get in there and start playing. So that makes it easy
yeah.
to do. And the other big poker news that came out this week, and it was more local to New Hampshire. So there was a Dominican national who got caught cheating in Manchester, New Hampshire, at the Revo Casino and Social House. He apparently had cards that he would hide up his sleeve, and so he would like pull out cards to like give himself like the nuts or give himself like the better hand and basically defeat people. Um, so this is an interesting story. Apparently, he'd been doing this for a while, and just he got caught as I think they were reviewing video or something like that. But it's kind of odd that nobody caught him before. Like you would think the dealers would have saw that.
It all depends on how suave he was with it.
Right.
It's I actually was playing there last night, and I couldn't even figure out how somebody could even get it done. It's
From what I
crazy,
understand,
and especially
he
now. I mean, the dealers there are all great. They're very professional. I get along with all of them. I don't really talk a lot at the tables. I'm a very quiet poker player, but they've always been professional there. And you know, now it's really annoying because they have to count the cards so often, and
yeah, but they
there's nothing
should be
they can
doing that.
do.
Like a
And at
part
some
of
point, that'll change again, and hopefully things will
yeah,
will lighten back up a bit. But it's uh it's a little interesting there, and there really wasn't a lot of talk about it. A little bit here and there, just hey, why are we counting the cards so much? And then somebody just kind of whispers, what happened,
right.
but uh,
But the
not
thing
really a
is
big
that
deal.
they should be doing that, right? So like they should be counting the cards like periodically as they go through it. And Paolino is laughing at it being a Dominican national. The reason that was noted, right? So apparently the person was a foreigner. He had a Dominican passport, which therefore would make him a Dominican national or Dominican citizen. We don't know if he was in the country legally or illegally or not. But that's just the mere fact. It was a Dominican national, apparently a male as well. Um,
Now
so,
you should put
one
out
of the
an
things is,
APB. Put out an
right.
APB format.
And interestingly, I don't always agree with Paolino, but he is right. They should be counting the stuff down. They don't have automatic shufflers at Revo, which is surprising because other rooms do have them. So Gate City has them, um, Chasers has them, Encore has them, but Revo in Manchester does not. And that seems like something that they maybe do want to invest in or should invest in, because those machines do auto count the deck to make sure that indeed there's only like 52 cards in there and that there's not duplicate cards and stuff like that. Um, so, that was interesting. And then I heard this is even more crazy. Same poker room, right? Revo Manchester. Apparently, a guy got sucked down on. He flopped top set. He had pocket kings. The flop was like king. I think it was like king, queen, nine. And, he figured his hand's probably good. All the chips went in, and he lost because somebody called him light with Jack 10. Unclear if it was suited or offsuit, but he got called by Jack 10. He loses to the straight. And when he went to the ATM to go get more money to presumably come back and win his money back, his ATM card was declined, and he ran his skull through the ATM, effectively breaking it.
Like I said, I went to that one of the ATMs there last night and the night before, and I didn't see any evidence of any of this. But I did see the story when it first came out from
Yeah.
that
The thing
forum
is
member,
I know
but
there's
I didn't
in
see I
Revo
didn't
they've
see any
got.
evidence. I didn't see
I
any
think
skull fragments or hair in the ATM.
maybe they swapped out that ATM with a spare, because they obviously, being a
I
casino,
don't
they want
know.
people to be able to go get money, because the more money people can go get, the more they can go throw on the tables, the more rate they can pay, etc. But that's just a wild story. Like, obviously, if your card gets declined, you should probably like call your bank and not run your head into the ATM, because aside from the fact that you're breaking the ATM, which is going to make it so nobody else can get money, I feel like that's gonna hurt your head, right? Like,
Yeah, I like I said, I didn't see any evidence of it, but who knows? Maybe they did swap something out, but I didn't.
yeah,
I didn't hear any talk of that at all at the table. It was mostly just about the game going just a little bit slower than normal, but um,
right.
it was all right though. It was good. Everybody was pretty happy. So
No, that's definitely good. So we are about ready to do the drawing, actually, to see who is going to win the Teddy KGB, the exclusive one of one trading card. So, what we have done here is we have put into this awesome application called the Wheel of Names. And basically, the Wheel of Names, and I'll put this up on the screen in a second here, but the Wheel of Names basically allows for, and let me just see if I can get this to properly display. So, the Wheel of Names um, basically is a application that allows for you to take a bunch of names, and you can then have those names appear on a wheel. So here we have the Wheel of Names, and it's basically every person that got a raffle ticket for the drawing. They were put in a list, and what I'm going to do is shuffle the list up a few times, and you'll see numbers next to some people. So, like, for example, Mambo Man, he's got 1 through 11. Each raffle ticket that you earned puts you a space on the wheel. So if you had 10 raffle tickets or 11 raffle tickets, you obviously have a better chance of winning the one of one KGB card compared to somebody who, say, had 2 raffle tickets or 1 raffle ticket. But that is for this exclusive card, and whoever wins this is going to get it sent out to them. So without further ado, let's see who is our winner. We're going to click on this, and it is going to spin and declare that somebody is victorious. And it looks like it is Mambo Man, that is Cody Culp. So our
Wow.
league winner ended up also earning the exclusive one of one Teddy KGB trading card. So, Cody, we're gonna get this sent to you in the near future, and you'll be able to put it on display or uh, carry it around as a card protector when you go play poker, whatever you want to do. If it is going to be yours now, you have the exclusive one of one Teddy KGB BrokeFish trading card.
Congratulations, Cody.
So
nice job this season. I hope you do just as well the second season.
and
This is coming up on the 19th, right?
Yeah, hilariously, somebody's accusing us of rigging the contest, even though we literally shuffled the wheel and did it live here. But
I can only think of one person that would say that you rigged something, and when you
right,
put his name up, I was correct in thinking that.
Indeed, it's always him. He also thinks that online poker is rigged when he loses, but when he wins, it's totally fine. So it's that's how it is. But
I give Slice a lot of credit. I've got a chance to log a lot of hours with him, and he's very good at figuring out other people's tendencies and taking advantage of that, including myself. So
yeah,
I
he does like to
I give him a lot of credit. He's a good player.
He does like to call light though, and that can be exploited. But now we're almost to 6:30, so I think we're gonna try to jump into. Somebody said that the game is already running on Club GG. So again, if anyone wants to play, check out BrokeFish Poker Uncensored on Facebook. You can get the information to join the club. It's really easy. You just need the Club GG app, which they make for Android, iPhone, and iPad, and Windows. And once you have the app, you can pretty much go and you can go in, you can start playing. We are going to have PLO starting up later. That game's not kicked off yet. They'll be kicked off once more people sit. And then obviously the Hold'em game is underway. There's 5 people sitting and 4 more seats that are available to sit down at. So, yeah. So everybody have a good evening and good luck if you're playing tonight.
And remember when the next season starts? What day is it starting, Matt?
January 19 is going to be the next season. More details
season
are going to
2
be posted soon.
So, yep, get ready.
Yeah.
See you guys at the tables.
All
See
right.
you later, Matt.
Bye, everyone.